Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Everyday Experts, the show where we try to point out why a lot more people are experts than they think. Today, pardon me for disappearing from the camera for a second. I want to find my quote. Today, we are blessed and honored to have a man of many talents and many distinctions. He is a writer, he is a musician, he is a producer, he's a DJ, he's a rapper. Hold on. He is a singer. I'm assuming he pop locks and plays the background instruments. He might even design the outfits that they wear during the photo shoots. There are a lot of different things that you can say about people and about what they bring to the table, what they bring to the environment. And the reason we call this episode Bigger and Blacker is because Mr. Jared, who I'm going to introduce in 1 second, wanted me to point out that he's not just a singular thing, but he's a man of many talents. He's also a USA qualifying basketball player. I believe he said track and field. Football, I know he played football. I think he played badminton. I think when he wasn't bad, he was going and doing curling as well. So without further ado, I introduce to you the man, the national man of mystery, Mr. Jared Jenkins. Jared, welcome to the show, sir.
Peace. Thank you for having me.
Listen, man. Flowers are well-deserved, brother. The flowers are well-deserved. I'm going to start like I always start. If you could be a vampire, a werewolf or wolf, a zombie, a ghost, or a serial killer, which would you be and why?
Say the first three again.
A vampire, a werewolf, or a wolf. So I've added that in, a werewolf or a wolf. A zombie, a ghost, or a serial killer?
No, a werewolf, because I could still be me, but then I could also change into the whatever, the beast that's inside him, but then I could also get back to my normal self and, hide in the cut and, and still be normal at the same time. So yeah, werewolf.
I respect it. A werewolf. Okay, sir. So you are an international and national man of mystery that has many, many accomplishments. Tell me about your childhood. What was young JJ Bam Bam Bruce Bigelow Banner like?
All over the place. I mean, I played sports when I was younger. I was always doing stuff like, playing t-ball or playing, Little League, Pop Warner football or basketball. When I was like a real little, like we're going from the very beginning, like as a baby, most of the time I'd just be like at, my dad's sessions and stuff, because he'd have the studio at the house and, I'd be doing stuff like that. And then when I got older, I would, sports, intramural and everything. And other than that, that's pretty much was my whole life when I was a kid, was like doing sports and stuff. Because I've had the dreams of where I'm going to be in the NBA. I was like, I'm in the NBA, I'm in the NFL. I'm going to do some sort of professional sports. I wanted to play for either the Seahawks or play for the Sonics. Like that was my goal. I was like, that's what I'm going to do. Well, actually, when I started getting a little bit older, that's when I started getting into track. My dad ran track in high school, so I have that going into my blood. My dad was like ran state, stuff like that. So, and I'm really good at it, but I really hate running. But it is
sound like a basketball player.
yeah. but I mean, I'm really good at it. So like I started getting into it and watching the Olympics and seeing like Michael Johnson, like that was one of like my big favorite like runners and stuff, and going back into Carl Lewis and all the other past ones that have been running. Like I like Usain Bolt too. You know what I'm saying? I feel bad like
Mm-hmm.
rooting for him because it's not be like, oh, I'm American. You know what I'm saying? You want to be rooting for. I'm American, but that boy saying so. But yeah, that's pretty much me as a little kid was sports, 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 and then like
Right.
music. You know what I'm saying? But it was pretty much sports.
Okay. So you got into basketball and football. I think the only sport you said you didn't play was water polo. No, I'm just kidding. What was your first sport? Your first love?
Um, I think my first sport was t-ball. Yeah, baseball. Like I was playing baseball,
Okay.
and then I played football, and then I started playing basketball. Like I didn't really like play organized basketball until because my dad coached me for the first like few years, and then I was playing like select teams and stuff like that. So I'm trying to think. Probably I didn't start playing basketball until I was probably like 8 or 9.
Okay.
And that was around the same time when I was still playing football, started playing football around that time too. But like I stopped playing the only reason why I never continued on to play baseball is because I got into track. Up here,
Real.
baseball's at the same time, you can't gotta make a choice. My dad always told me he's always wished that I had played baseball instead of running track and stuff. But because his dad sport was baseball.
What were you best at? What sport did you excel at? You felt
Like I
I'm
actually played in state and have like crown records and stuff like that, and you know, and was the MVP in my team, my senior year, and the most points my senior year. That was pretty much like my thing. Like I lettered in every sport. I lettered in football, basketball, and track.
mm-hmm.
Um, so like, but my main sport that I was doing was track. Even though I really wanted to be a football player or a basketball player, but I mean, if I really had focused on it, you know what I'm saying? Like I went to college for track too. So if I really had like focus on it, then I probably would have just, I could have probably made it to the Olympics.
For track? Wow. How
Maybe.
would that have felt?
Huh?
How would that have felt? What would your feelings be if you were just like, oh yeah, I made the track and field for the Olympics for track and field.
I honestly scared, happy, shocked,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Nervous. Like it would be a crazy feeling to like make it to the Olympics because I mean not only are you like representing like your family, but you're representing your country as well, and you're on TV in the whole world. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like a lot of people are the biggest thing that they ever done is they're in big stadiums and stuff in whatever country they're in, but like
Right.
like when you're in the Olympics and stuff, like this only happens every 4 years, and when
Mm-hmm.
everybody in the world is watching you. So like
Mm-hmm.
you stumble or you mess up, you know what I'm saying? You
Mm-hmm.
in that for another 4 years, whereas professional sports, you can, if you mess up or have a bad game or you get knocked out of the playoffs in a horrible way, you always have that next year to come back or have an opportunity to, you know what I mean?
Right.
To clean the slate to get the nastiness, that nasty taste out of your mouth. Whereas in the Olympics, you gotta like stew with that.
Mm-hmm. For 4 years and be pissed off for all 4 years.
You know what I'm saying? Either use that as
Oh.
motivation, or you could let like take over and then injure end you. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't know. It would be crazy to to join or if I was able to like join the U.S. track team or join
Mm-hmm.
U.S. basketball team. Like, I mean, I did the little Junior Olympics thing. That wasn't, that was crazy because I'm like 16 years old playing it, like 15, 16 years old playing against like grown men.
Mm-hmm. In the
You
junior,
know,
tell me about the Junior Olympics. Go into that a little bit more because you said you could have made the Olympics for track and
uh,
field if you would have like probably put a little bit more into it. But tell me about what you did make the Olympics for, Junior Olympics for.
have you heard of NBC basketball camps?
Mm-hmm. But
Well,
for people
okay.
that haven't, explain, please.
Well, okay. NBC basketball camps is like a basketball camp that they have stationed around the country where they have
Mm-hmm.
like big time players come there, and usually every NBC camp had an NBA player that's been in that camp as a camper at some
Mm-hmm.
point, or somebody that's played professional, semi-pro, something like that. Like, and they always have like professional coaches that are coming in, actual college coaches that come in. A lot of college coaches go to those camps so they can like recruit, and try to get
Mm-hmm.
their teams and stuff. But then the year that my second year that I went there was the year well, I went first year, and every single year they have they have a team where you can compete against like a whole bunch of other kids from other different camps and stuff like that, where you can
Right.
compete and join the team that will go overseas to play, you know, start off to play preseason games before you go into like play junior Olympic games against other countries and stuff.
Right.
And the one year that I had went was I didn't try out the first year, but my second year I tried out and I made the team.
Oh
And
wow.
actually, I made the final cut, and then the day I had to come back, and then I made the team, and so we ended
Mm-hmm.
up go overseas and we started for the first preseason for the Olympics, trials and all that stuff. We played a bunch of different teams from different countries, Ireland, Greece, Russia, England. We were
Mm-hmm.
every state. We went to Scotland. We went to a whole bunch of different countries and stuff like that, and played a whole bunch of different teams. Played a whole bunch of games. It'd be like little like tournaments and stuff, like round robin tournaments that we would play, and then
Right.
like would get we advanced, and if we advanced, and that would get us closer to qualifying to the to get into the qualifying for the Junior Olympics. When we got there, we got to the qualifying match, but we ended up losing the last game, and we
Oh
didn't end up.
wow.
And so we ended up coming back home and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a great experience because you got to play against a lot of like professional like players that play like in Euro leagues and stuff like
Right.
that. So and then being like 15, 16 years old and you're playing against dudes that are like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, even 30 years old, and they're
Mm-hmm.
professional, paid to do this stuff. Well, we're just going over there for fun.
Yeah.
Like it was a great experience. Like eye opening, got to see different countries, try
Mm-hmm.
different food, see different, cultures and stuff like that. It was really cool.
What? So tell me about the competition because people watch somebody on TV. Obviously, they say, okay, KD, LeBron, Russell Westbrook, they're all phenomenal at basketball players and athletes and yada yada. But this European player, he can't be that good, like Luka or Djokovic. Tell me about the level of competition and how much better the basketball is for the people that aren't the upper echelon. Do you understand my question?
Yeah. Well, what I've always like, because my dad has been the same, like he says the same thing to me all the time. Like whenever we talk about it, it's like we always talk about how in your leagues they teach you the fundamentals. Like they're all about, your dribbling skills, your defensive skills, your shooting skills, your basketball IQ. Where over here in the States, a lot of players, they're all about like, how high I can dunk,
Right.
what kind of like what kind of funny, I'm almost knocking the thing down, what kind of like pass I can do underneath my leg, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So being me, somebody who's going to a basketball camp where we're learning fundamentals, and then you go to overseas and you're playing against professionals where like they got all the tools and stuff. They don't have they're not the big name,
Yeah.
but they got tools. They can shoot from every area of the court, from from the key to the 3-point line. Their mid-range game is legit. You know what I'm saying? Because they wouldn't be on those teams if it wasn't good.
Right.
So to me, I would say the fundamentals of players, like compared to like the Lukas and like the Jokovic and stuff, they're not, but they're at the point where they're good enough where like they can run with these guys. You know what I'm saying? Because like Luka was young, balling with a lot of older men and whatnot that have been playing in the professional league for like years. But they didn't have they didn't have like that gift, the athleticism that he has. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Difference. Because not every single European player that you play against is going to be as athletic as, a young 15, 16-year-old, you know what I'm saying, kid from, from Seattle or whatever,
Yeah.
So, like, I could probably do something that's more athletic and whatnot than this one guy could do, but he's probably a way better shooter than I am, you know what I mean? Or he's a way better defender than I am. You know what I'm saying? So like, been me and probably stop me doing my athletic stuff, but I'm not as good as a defender as he is, and he probably outweighs me and is taller than me. So he will take advantage mid range or take me down in the
Right.
key. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a guard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was what I would think is the fundamentals. Is like you have the elite, European players that can like have the athleticism, like the Lukas, you know what I'm saying? How Jokovic, he's the Joker. He's he doesn't look like he's like a physical specimen and stuff, but he's very athletic for his size. He's very deceptive of how quick he can get to the basket and how he can, he can create, and also he can create plays and stuff. Good passer too. He's got good basketball IQ. So I would think like a lot of the players that we were playing against, the reason why they weren't up there is because of probably age. They probably aged out or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
That's fundamentals, probably athleticism and age is the difference.
Yeah. So your dad, you mentioned your dad a couple times and how he kind of scoped the basketball and your art, which we'll get into in a little while. What role did mom play? What role did your mom play in your life?
All the thespian and the movies and the nerdiness and the joking, the craziness, and all that other stuff. That's all my mom. Like I got my music side and all that, from my dad, and then my personality and all the other craziness and quirkiness, and also artistic stuff too from my mom. Because my mom's a thespian. She does like she's an actress. She directs. She does all. So yeah. I got all of that from her, and then I get all my music and the thoughts that I come up with and concepts and all the other stuff. I get that all from my dad. But like, yeah,
cool.
she's the one who we're watching, like if I'm watching like a horror movie or watching like an action movie or something with my dad, I'm watching, like some sort of like cartoon or something like that, or or some cartoon movie or something like that, with my mom. Like we'll be watching like Marvel or some sort of like, that's what my mom does like all the time. Like she just literally, when she has her downtime, she just puts on like some sort of Marvel, just zones out. Like she's cool like that.
Cool.
And then like when she has her downtimes, that's when she's doing that. But most of the time she's stuff at the Playhouse, doing stuff. She's the head of the Navy Exchange, or the base area right now at the Navy Exchange.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, she's all over the place. My mom's everywhere. It's the times where I tell her, you need to like chill, like
Mm-hmm.
relax. You don't need to be doing everything like all the time. But yeah, that's my mom.
So when we look at your personality type, and that's where you said you got your personality from, do you see your mom in you when you're going into the studio? You're like, well, most people have to wait for a person to produce. I can produce it myself. Most people have to make for somebody to make the beat. I can make the beat myself. Most
Yeah.
people are like, oh yeah, we need a background singer. Oh, I do that too. So you're like a one-man band man, and I know Swiss Beats said that, but you're like literally a one-man band. Is that an accreditation to your mom? Is that an accreditation to your dad? A combination, or is that something that you kind of
Of
gleaned
both.
from both of them?
No, of both, because my dad, he's an actor too. He acts and does everything too. Like what I always say to everybody about our family is like we're chameleons. Like we adapt to our surroundings. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like if there's something that you want something done with music, we can do that. There's something, where we're acting, we can do that. Filming, we can do that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
You at cooking, we can do that. Gardening, we can do that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to, like, that was the one main thing that I was saying with my friend when we started doing the whole record label was we wanted to our goal was to have a hit song in every genre. Like we didn't want it to
Oh
be
wow.
just as just like one, we only produce for like hip hop artists, or we only produce for pop artists, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Or do, you know what I'm saying? Or we only do
Mm-hmm.
music for videos or like movies and stuff. Like, no, we wanted to like have like a number one song or something being like talked about in every genre that we can get in. And we figured music is pretty much in everything in life if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're gonna have when you have commercial music, you know what I'm saying? In movies and scores, you need music.
Mm-hmm.
Radio music, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have music. You play music all the time when you're in the house. If you have a radio, if you're in your car, you're in a bus, you know what I'm saying? If you're in the store, they're playing music.
Mm-hmm.
So that was our whole deal. Is like we figured if we can get anything that has our stamp on it in the brains of all these different peoples in different, areas, different backgrounds, different, of songs that they like and stuff like that. That's the quickest way to getting to the top,
Right.
or getting to the top is just getting noticed. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And then sky's the limit.
Right.
So like that was our basic game plan that we had. So it was like it didn't matter like whatever we were doing. Like if we were if my homie was out skating or something like that, we figured out some way that we're going to incorporate music into it. You know what I'm saying? Or if we're at parties rhyming,
Wow.
stuff like
Yeah.
that, we're incorporating music to it. Like we wanted to make sure we had either some footage or something or a recording or something so that we can meld it together and then create some sort of like just a new vibe, a new air, you know what I'm saying? Like a new era.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel like about music now is like I've always said that like when mainstream media grasps on something that's like popular, that's when you need
Mm-hmm.
to the new.
Right.
You
I
know what I'm
respect
saying?
it. I
Like
respect it a lot.
when swag, like we were talking before, like when I said how swag used to be like the dope thing, everybody was always saying swag, swag, swag,
Yep.
swag. But then now you got swag bags and all this other stuff like that, and you got all these corporate people that have no idea what swag is, but they're using swag in all their different, money making
Mm-hmm.
and things that they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That, like, okay, you got to come up with something new. When that one, whatever, the flossing dance or whatever,
Yeah.
when you started seeing people on Good Morning America doing it, that's when it's like, okay, that's played out. We got to find something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I keep saying, like, I had to get, schooled up on it. My dad was one who pretty much had to get me on because I used to how the music sounds now days. But then, but it's like I have to adapt to the surroundings and stuff because to me it might not sound good, but to a whole lot of other people, that's fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I understand where they're coming from, then it's like, oh, okay, now I see what you're doing with it. Okay, I get it now. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
that's what um I feel like I'm like rambling right now because I think I went off of what I was gonna say. I think I lost my track of thought.
All right.
Uh
So, okay. So let me bring you back. Let me help you a little bit
yeah, help.
because I think you have so many ideas that you want to get out, which is
Yeah,
awesome. But that's probably why you want to be in every genre because you have okay, this is what country should sound like, this is what
yeah,
folk
yeah,
music should sound like, this is what rap should sound like,
yeah, yeah.
not one cohesive sound that's not played out in all everybody listening, everybody saying swag 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 swag. Okay, after a while it's not,
Like, no,
it doesn't have any backing to it.
well, yeah, but like, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm not knocking, like
Mm-hmm.
what sound or anything that's coming out is because you have to be creative, you have to be unique to come up with certain stuff like that for people to even vibe with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, but my whole thing is, it's like we got to continue to keep, progressing everything, and it's not just sitting there staying on whatever it is that's hot forever. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that's passing,
Mm-hmm.
over people that are actually good over the, people that aren't as talented as they should be because you're not really paying attention to what's really going
Right.
on. And you're
Yep.
only one little tunnel vision thing or one little tunnel vision sound or clothing style, you know what I'm saying? Or
Mm-hmm.
term, you know what I'm saying? That's why that's why I always be like when I joke with you back and forth about New York, how it's like it feel like New Yorkers just think that like the world just revolves around them and like there's nothing else outside of New York City. You know
I
what I'm
mean,
saying?
I understand it's not wrong, but I understand what you're saying. Go ahead. I'm just
Well,
messing
no,
with you.
and no, but I'm also not. I'm not hating your gangster. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was a New
Yeah.
Yorker, same way too. You know what I'm saying? Because literally everything that that's important goes on in New York. You know what I'm saying? If you're not in
Mm-hmm.
LA, you're doing something in New York. You know what I mean? And so I get that whole persona, and that's why I vibe so much with New Yorkers more than I vibe with like even people that are California, people even from Seattle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I have that New York mentality when I go through life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I like when people try to tell me that I'm passive aggressive, and people that really know me, they like laugh hysterically. They're like, that passive aggressive and Jared don't make no sense whatsoever. Like he's gonna literally there's nothing about passive aggressiveness, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I'm thinking. Like if you want my opinion, I'm gonna tell it to you. You might not like it.
Right.
You know what I'm
Why do
saying?
you, why do you think people um mislabel you as passive aggressive?
Because I don't, you know what? I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe I'm nice because I tried. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. So, all right, we'll come back to that. So let me see if I can. I have a couple of questions I want to ask you that are going to kind of broach that topic. But before that, dinner. 10-year-old Jared's at dinner with 20-year-old Jared, with current year Jared. What is dinner like? Is everybody like beatboxing and flipping on the tables? Are you making that? Are you freestyling? What is dinner like with the three of you at dinner? What's it like?
Young Jared is mashing like whatever it is that's on the plate and not paying attention and not saying a word to nobody.
Okay.
20-year-old something Jared is either on his phone talking to some girl or on on my phone texting some girl, or I'm looking over watching TV, you know what I'm saying, while I'm eating and stuff. And then me, Jared, is sitting there eating my food, looking at my my middle-aged self, like what is he looking at, seeing what he's looking at, and then my younger self just mashing the food, thinking like, man, I wish I could be you right now. That's
So,
just going on at the dinner table.
so you are envious of 10-year-old Jared just a little
Man,
bit.
I wish I could go back to those days, man. Life was a bliss, man. You didn't have,
Ah.
you didn't have to care about nothing. The only thing you had to worry about was what you gonna do the next day.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to like if you're hungry, be like, Ma, I'm hungry, food, bow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going outside to play. Cool, get out. You know what I'm saying? You're outside hanging out with friends and stuff like that. Yo, I'd be like, I'm sick. Boom, you're taken care of. You know what I'm saying? But when you're a grown up, like you can't be like, yo, Ma, I'm hungry. She'll be like, make yourself something to eat.
Go handle that then.
You know what I'm saying?
Matter of fact, give me food too.
Yeah, make me a plate as well. You know what I'm saying? Like being an adult sucks.
Yup. So as we transition into what I like to call Jared 101, because a lot of people don't know a lot about you. And we had our pre-interview and we were talking about ego. We were talking about humbleness. We were talking about braggadocious. So what's up with that? How come nobody knows the artist side of you?
Because I've never been the type of person to like brag about stuff that I've done. Like a lot of people don't even know that I even do like music and stuff. Like they just assume that like I just run around and I don't know. I don't know what a lot of people assume what it is that I do because like I don't really say nothing. Like they don't find out. Like I'll post something, they'll be like, "Wait, who is that? That's you?" And I'll be like, "Yeah," you know. Or they'll come across it and they'll be like, "Yo, have you heard this?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, that's me."
Right.
You know what I'm
So
saying? I don't know what it is. But nobody in my family is like that. We don't like to brag. You know what I'm saying? We don't like to flaunt what we have. You know what I'm saying? Like I've always thought of like I'm the worst. If I got super famous, I'd be the worst celebrity because you would never know what I was doing because I would never be seen. Like I build a compound that would have everything that I need to do in life, and you would never see me unless I'm like doing a show or like on the movie screen or something like that, or had to do a press appearance. Because like I'm a homebody. I like to chill. If I just like to watch TV, listen to music, make music.
Mm-hmm.
If I go out and make music, I immediately come back home. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not really that type of dude that's like out and about. Like I got all that out of me when I was like 18, 19 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like going to the club and all that. Like I was going to the clubs because living so close to Canada where you could go to the clubs when you're like 16 years old. Like I was going to clubs and stuff before I was. So like I had all that stuff out of my. Plus then having my parents that are in the show business and like being around celebrities and being around parties and being around all that the stuff that goes around, like it's like nothing's new to me. You know what I'm saying? So
it's become more normalized to you.
Yeah.
It's
So
become normalized to you.
So I like it when it's like calm down. You know what I mean?
Right.
When I can just chill. If I'm gonna play a video game or something or watch or something like that. Like I'm cool with that. Like
So
I'm all cool with that.
So question, how do you find the line of demarcation between I'm promoting myself and and I'll use me for an example. When I talk about my writing, I have to believe I'm a good writer or else I wouldn't put it into a book and then publish it for people to read. Or else, why would I torture myself like that?
Right. Well,
do you know what I mean?
No, don't get me wrong. Like I know I'm like good
That's
at
what I
what
talk your shit.
do.
Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? Like talk shit if I have to, you know what I'm saying? Like don't get it twisted. It's just that I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like if somebody else is talking about like songs or music that they're doing, I'm actually gonna listen to, whatever it is that they're talking about. Not saying like, oh, look at this, look at this dude. Or I'm actually gonna
Mm-hmm.
be like, know what he's talking about. And then if he knows what he's talking about, then I'm gonna pay attention to what he's talking about. And if he doesn't know what he's talking about, then I'm not gonna pay attention to it. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be polite about it. I'm not gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Like
Okay.
I'm not. I just don't. I just don't feel like I just don't like that. I don't like if you're gonna start talking about like all the stuff that you got and all the things that you do, like that you're just broadcasting. Come rob me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
come 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 violate my family or something like that, or come egg my house or do something crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to entertain any of that nonsense. So
Mm-hmm.
I wary of stuff like that. Not worried, but wary of stuff like that.
Jadakiss, an esteemed lyricist, said, quote, I'm not cocky, I am confident. So when you tell me I'm the best, it's a compliment. Now, what does that mean to you? How does that resonate with you? Because it's sort of along the lines of what you're saying.
That like I know it might seem like I'm a like I know it all, or that I think that I'm too cool for the situation. It's not that. It's that I'm used to this. You know what I'm saying? When you tell me that I'm dope at something, I take it as a compliment, as if like you're saying my shoes look nice. You know what I mean?
Right.
And to a lot of people that seems like you're arrogant, or you think you're full of yourself. But to people like Jadakiss or guys like me, i'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even in that realm of thinking. And like, oh, that's cool, thanks, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then I'm moving. You know what I'm saying? Where a lot of people feel like when you get complimented, like they want to feel that, and they'll be like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
they want expression from you to give them, to let them know that you really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people just think that oh, it's all right, oh, thanks, man, and then keep it moving. That you're like being disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, basically, how I took it is like, yo, don't take me, you know, don't take it as disrespect. Like I acknowledge that you think you think I'm dope, but this ain't nothing new to me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
every day. Like if it's something big, like I got $1 billion, then come like, yo, good job. You know what I'm saying? But if it's like
Mm-hmm.
like with Jadakiss, if I spit a bar or something like that and you thought it was dope, yeah, of course it's dope. I spit that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I did that. Like I know I'm nice. You know what I'm saying? So like, what else? What else? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, and that seems arrogant. That seems, like you're a dick or something like that. But it's like, no, you're just confident in your abilities of
Mm-hmm.
whatever situation you get put in. It's not being arrogant. You're being confident. Don't take my cockiness as being, arrogance. It's my confidence, knowing that wherever room I walk in, I'm the shit. I know this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have self, and
But
I'm
you
not.
need that ego. But you need that
Yeah,
ego. You
in the
you need to have
profession,
ego.
but yeah, in the profession, mind you, in the profession that he's in, you have to have that mindset. You know what I'm saying? When
Yes.
you're in music, you have to have that mindset. When you're in
Yes.
acting, you are working with other, actors and stuff like that. But you also have to have the mindset that like I'm the baddest, MF up in this mug.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the baddest bitch up in. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to have that mentality when you're in the professional, basically, or you're gonna get eaten up. You know what I'm saying? And like you can still be cocky and still be polite at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not hard. That's a lot of people need to figure that out. Like get that going. In their repertoire, because a lot of people just feel that you either have to be either you got to be like full out 100 of being like the dick, you know what I'm saying, or being
Mm-hmm.
reserved confident, or the reserved, not confident, but the reserved individual. You know what I'm saying? So like that's why I totally I see where he's coming from with that. I like that quote.
So I have, when I used to rap many years ago, I
Wait.
flipped the line.
Time out.
Yeah.
You used to rap many years ago?
I started off rapping before writing poetry, but what happened was I found
And
the beat
one of my questions
constricting.
sorry for cutting you off, but you answered one of the questions I wanted to ask you because I was like, yo, did you used to rap before you wrote poetry?
I did, and I know a lot of rappers, poets start that way or the other way around. A lot of
Yeah.
poets go into rap, whatever. I didn't like having to be constrained by beat, actually, which is pretty funny. I didn't like that the beat, that I had to keep a certain cadence with the beat and a certain rhyme and
Mm-hmm.
rhythm and all that stuff. When I write, you can hear the internal rhyme in the actual what I'm writing, if that
Right.
makes sense. So
Yeah.
for me, and when I'm actually, funny story, when I have writer's block for poetry, I'll rap. I'll write raps. And that helps me through the writer's block because to me, it's easier to do couplets because I don't write in couplets anymore. So it's easier to do bars for me. Not saying they're good or great, but it's easier to put together bars
Right.
that'll help drive the inspiration, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, that does make sense. Like that was actually my next question I was gonna ask you. I was like, what is your process or how writing? So do you ever like write like actual lyrics, songs, and then like
Oh yeah,
and then
yeah.
change them into like poetry at the same, you know what I mean? Or like or kind of like because like you don't do like haikus and stuff like that, do you?
I don't do form poetry too much. I do want to do a book of sonnets. That's like that's down the road where it's very formulaic and you have to. But I find sonnets interesting because I like Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So, hold on one second. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Sorry, daddy moment. So what I do is I'll listen to music a lot, and the music will inspire responses, or I might take a line and then make a whole song off of the one line.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the song, and I just think, like for me, music is very good for what I like to do because I'm very musically influenced because I started off wanting to rap.
Right.
Like there's somewhere in the ethos, I recorded myself rapping, or I just like to play beats and I would just rap over them. But I never liked the process at all.
What about just because of that, like you added it just to stay in beat with whatever the song is? Because nowadays rappers they don't stay with beats no more.
Oh,
they just start. Sometimes it seems like they're just talking. You know what I'm saying?
they are. Um,
There's no
what
disrespect. I don't want to canceled. Okay, don't cancel me.
no.
I don't want no meat fans or any of them coming up in my DMs, talking shit to me. All right. Excuse
I
me.
think that a lot of rappers nowadays don't rap on beat. Sorry, my lights having issues. They don't rap on beat at all. Like
Yeah.
Eminem, if you listen to Eminem, early Eminem, and listen to Eminem now, he said that he used to be terrible at rhyming on a beat, and that he just practiced it and practiced it and practiced it, and that what happened was that he got good at it because it was something he focused on. Like you have mumble rappers now. Older rappers used to actually go and take like communication and enunciation classes so you understood what they were saying.
Right.
Now it's and you don't have, and they put their bars together so their bars are almost flowing into each other. Where I'm sure when you write a rap or you write a song, I want people, when I write a poem, I want people to understand the lines.
Yes, I want them to hear what I'm saying. I want like if I have like a joke or something in there, want somebody that actually like have seen the show or heard something like to understand like what it is I'm saying. Like what I heard, so I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was DJ Casely. I was listening to Sirius when I was driving home one day, and he was talking about how like mumble rap and like the trap era and the music
Mm-hmm.
have now the melody hip hop types
Yep.
that we have right now should be like their own separate genres. You know what I'm saying? Like how hip, like if it, instead of like making, considering it just because what he would say was like a lot of people, if you hear somebody rhyming on a song or if
Mm-hmm.
it like they're rapping, automatically it's hip hop.
Yeah.
And that's what they would did with Old Country Road, where it sounded like he's rhyming, so then they automatically tried to make it a hip hop song instead of the country song that he wanted it to be. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And if they would just like have hip hop as its own genre that it has, and then
Mm-hmm.
if A, B, C, D, or have like melody hip hop
Yeah.
and mumble rap and trap, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Then you wouldn't have to have this whole back and forth between the older generation and the younger generation talking about I'm hip hop and this is hip hop and I'm doing hip hop music. You know, because you could be like, well, yeah, I do my own style. You know what I'm saying? It's more melodic, you know, or I style the mumble rap, or I'm real trap with it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Or if you're doing like real boom bap, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like doing stuff like that, like if they had everything like categorized instead
Right.
of just taking everything, anybody who's rapping and just throwing it in there, you know what I'm saying it's hip hop, we wouldn't have any of these issues when it comes to like hip hop. And a lot of art get passed over for certain artists because they're trying to catch a wave, you know what I'm saying? Because you'd be able to have different waves from different, you know, I guess different avenues, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So,
sir.
but that's been my whole deal with like hip hop. Like I felt like I'm not like hating on any of the music that's been coming out. It's just I hate that I have to compete with stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So we have sort of skipped ahead, which is fine because I want to go to your next section, which I think is going to be the most interesting, and it's called deconstructing art.
Okay.
Because when we talk about your your veracity, the different types of music you like, and the different styles, because not everybody can rap, not everybody can sing, and not everybody can produce. You know, you
Right.
have unicorns, you have the Pharrells and the Kanyes. You have the people where even Havoc from Mobb Deep was a great producer. You know, he was
Mm-hmm.
a good rapper, but he was a great producer. So you have these different people that do these different things. So, you told me your parents told you don't be one dimensional. If you don't work, you don't eat, but don't get comfortable. Tell me about that, because I was just like, oh, that hurt my chest.
Basically, don't be one dimensional is like don't stay in you know, don't just be in one little lane, like how I was saying with like the music genre, like, you know, have a vast portfolio. Like if you know, not only do you rhyme, but you know, you can sing on the song, you can produce the song, you
Right.
know, if you can act in the video, you can shoot the video. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to be constrained to like one, you know, thing. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
Mm-hmm.
so much other stuff that you can do, you know, if you actually if you can multitask and, you know, and work, and you know that comes to the if you don't eat. Whereas as if like that's what my dad used said to him all the time. You know, which basically means is like if you're not gonna work at getting whatever you're doing, you're not gonna make no money out of it. How you gonna eat?
Mm-hmm.
Family,
Mm-hmm.
how, you know, feed yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then don't get comfortable is when you get successful in whatever it is you're doing, don't feel like you've made it. You know what I'm saying? There's
Right.
always a step you can get in whatever it is that you're doing. Like, you know, you might have made your goal, but then now you can probably get higher than that. There could be another thing that you can do to
Mm-hmm.
other goals and set. Like, don't just be comfortable in one thing. There's, you know what I mean? And don't, because if you get comfortable, then that's when you can get left behind.
Right.
because
Exactly.
somebody else that's going to work a lot harder than you've been working before to get your spot, and they might exceed you, and then you're just going to be thought of as like, oh, you're just one of the regular ones. You know what I'm saying? All that clout that you made, all that, cachet that you had is gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, always think that your job can be taken, never be comfortable.
So
that's like always live my life, like in anything I'm doing, like don't get comfortable in anything you're doing. Even when people like talk about how good my music is, or when I get out my distro deal and stuff like that, like I didn't get comfortable because I didn't think like I made it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody who I know thinks I'm, like super famous and stuff like that. And they only think that because they can Google me up and see my music, or they can go and look me up and they can find my, they can go and look up something and see a video of me. You know what I'm saying? So, but those people don't understand the background, when it comes to like any of the entertainment business in whatever route you're taking, where no matter what it is, like because you're on television doesn't mean that you made it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that have been on television and then they flaked. You know what I'm saying? So like that's the whole, like, don't get comfortable. Don't think just because people are praising like how good your music sound, or they like what you're talking about, or I like the hip hop version of how you did this, and I really like this pop song how you right there, that's really cool and stuff. And I have this in my all of my my playlists and all that. Like you hear that stuff a lot, you know what I'm saying? And it could get to your head, and you could think that you've made it and you're doing all this stuff, but and you could try to walk in cocky into like a A&R's office talking about, well, I got all these people saying this and these many people following me, and they could be like, well, I don't like your music. You know what I'm saying?
And it's just that simple. It could be somebody who doesn't like you, and you get dubbed. You get dead.
And then you're really screwed, because then you're like basically digging yourself out of quicksand and stuff, because you're not only figuring out, well, you're second guessing, well, is my music even good, even though it probably is really good, but because you're more worried about, well, he didn't like it, so then that means they're not gonna like it, and blah blah blah. And then you got a whole mess that you're in that you don't even need to be in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Like that's like, I know that was a long drawn out version, but that's the best way that I can explain that quote, so that you can like each term it is, or if you want to be smart about it, is or not smart, if you want to just keep it short, is just work your ass off, be humble, and never settle for whatever it is. You can always be better than who you are in everything. Relationships, personal, physical, mental, emotional, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff.
So let me ask you a question. We keep hearing about this music, so why don't we have our amazing producer / engineer play one of your songs? I believe you wanted to hear Bad Monday. I'm sorry. Bad Monday. Is that the one you wanted to play first, or did you want to play Naked first?
Well, I have like little. Well, let's just you play whatever it is you want to play, because
which one do you want to play first?
Because like I would have to explain like my reasonings for like certain songs. You know what I'm saying? Like
okay,
I always for like
we'll do that after. So which one do you want to hear first?
Just play Naked, I guess. Yeah, just
play Naked. So, Mr. Munoz, could you play Naked for us, please, sir?
I want to get you naked. I want to get you naked. I just want to see you. Yeah, I would love to see you. Baby, maybe and you can get naked. Yeah, I just want to see you. Yeah, I would love to see you. Baby, maybe and you can get naked.
Okay, KK. There's a lot of nakedness you want to happen, I see.
No, what I wrote that song like during the quarantine, like in 2020. You know what I'm saying? Because the original name of the song was Naked 2020, and it was basically like what everybody was feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like if you were talking to somebody on Zoom or something like that, or you were talking to somebody FaceTiming them, or like if you were talking to some girl or whatever, and you're just thinking like, yo, what am I gonna do the next time I see this one? Yo, you know what I'm saying? And at that moment, I had somebody that I was thinking about. I was like, yo, once this quarantine gets out, it's on and pop. As soon as they let this tiger out, it's on and popping, baby. You know what I'm saying? So I was just sitting back, and then one of my homies sent me a track, and I was like, yo, I like that. Because I was like, yo, I need something like real, like upbeat, but
Yeah.
but like synthy and stuff like that, and poppy and synthy. And so then he sent me that beat, and then I just started singing, I want to get you naked. And I was like, yo, that is tight. And
I
then
like it.
I recorded it and then sent it to him, and then he was like, yo, how did you come up with that? And I was like, yo, I don't know, man. I was just, it's a quarantine. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I'm trying to holler at somebody. And then he's like, yo, let's work on this. And so then we wrote the song. I wrote that song literally in one night, recorded it that night, put it out like, I think like a week later or something like that. And then put it out. And then immediately a bunch of people that I knew in Japan were like playing it like in their were doing like DJ sets when they were on live. And they were like, oh, hella people are asking about this Naked track. And I'm like, well, I haven't put that out yet. And they're like, yo, man, you need to put this out. Put it out. And I put it out. And it's gotten a lot of plays and stuff. Like, I know they a lot of Spotify. Like, that's the one thing I don't like about Apple Music. And I know they'll probably, if they'll say anything to me after this, if I ever get famous and stuff, but they don't ever give you your like full analytics, numbers and stuff.
Oh.
You know how in Spotify they'll show you how many streams you have on certain songs.
Yeah.
Do that with like you could have like the Apple Music for artists and stuff, and they'll give you the analytics of like the places and people that are where they're listening to stuff at, but they don't give you like the numbers of like how many times it's getting played. That's the only problem I have with Apple Music. Other than that, I would love to do business with Apple Music.
Yeah, you gotta give them the. That's right. You gotta be like, don't think I won't work with you.
I'm not trying to be, a hater on Apple Music. I'm doing this on an Apple phone right now. So okay.
So we have a bunch of creativities going on. Cupid Valentino and the Lovely Imperfections, one. Catfish McGee, another one.
Yep.
Jared, another one. No.
Well,
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So break it down for the audience. By the way, Jared's album, what's it called?
Well, the album I did is it was called the Love and Waffles album.
Love and Waffles.
That one.
Yes, the Love and Waffles album.
Yeah, that's part of I have like a saga thing. Like, remember when I was telling you my first mixtape was the Valentino album?
Yes.
It was Lifetime's Volume 1, the Valentino album. Then this one was Lifetime's Volume 2, Love and Waffles, the Love and Waffles album. And then my next one's going to be Lifetime's Volume 3, Magenta. I didn't tell you. Yeah, nobody knows about that. I just released that to you right now. So
okay. So that's an exclusive.
But what was the question again?
Cupid Valentino and Lovely Imperfections. Catfish McGee.
When I'm performing, like it's Cupid Valentino, and then when I'm performing with the band, it was Cupid Valentino and the Lovely Imperfections. if I'm doing like background vocals or something like that, or like I feature on a song where I gotta sing, that's Catfish McGee. And then Jared is when I'm like professionally like doing like acting, doing all this other stuff.
Mm.
And then my producer name is S Dot. So like if you hear S Dot on anything or whatever like that, that's that like I produce or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
like we have our different tags, like we have our New Beginning music tags and stuff like that. But like each of us has a tag to a beat for a song.
I heard New Beginnings music, and I believe that's something you wanna promote as well. What is
Oh
New
yeah.
Beginnings music?
Well, yeah, that was the original name of that was the original. Well, that's the name of the label, but like it's a long name and whatnot. But that was like the original name that we came up with, me and my friend Andre, when we started the whole thing. Is we were just going to be called New Beginning Music. We want to be a new beginning to the music scene and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because like our biggest fan, we were like huge fans of the Neptunes,
Yeah.
and we that like they were just so abstract with everything that they were doing. That's why like I love Pharrell. Like he's like one of my favorite producers, other than Jay Dilla, and all of them and stuff. But like
Mm-hmm.
I think if you listen to it, you can hear like how Pharrell and like Timberland like influenced my mindset, and Dre like influenced my mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little Swiss beats and a lot of stuff that I do too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When I make a lot of my music and stuff, like you can see the different elements of music that I've listened to over the years of being alive, where you can feel like, oh yeah, this kind of sounds like like a Swiss Beats type of song, or this kind of sounds like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yo, this really sounds like a Neptune song. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. You know what I'm saying? I love when people say stuff like that because it makes me feel like, oh, okay, good. It sounds dope. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
even when you on me and be like, yo, this sounds way too much like that, and I'd be like, good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that means that I'm actually doing my music sounds good enough where you think it sounds like somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And then
Which
when
is
you find
awesome.
me, then you're like, oh well, what else you got? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but yeah, that's S Dot when I'm producing. I do that. But like when I'm Jared, I'm acting. You know what I'm saying? Going around, living my life.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead,
Catfish.
talk about it.
If you
Oh,
want me to,
acting. Okay. Quick question about acting before you go back into the music.
okay.
Um, you said you wanted to get back into acting because you kind of slowed down during the pandemic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What happened?
I told you the story about I was that I auditioned and got the part for Cop and a Half, but I was too tall.
You told me the story, but that's a great story for you to tell our listeners.
Yeah. Okay. So back when I was like, I want to say like probably like 5 or 6 or something like that. I was like really tall for my age. Like I was like a beanstalk as like a little kid. And like when I first grew, like when I was young, I was like when I was a little baby, I was a little short and chubby and fat and stuff. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I was like 3 or 4, then I just started growing. You know what I'm saying? I was like a little skinny beanstalk, but I was tall for my age, and I
Right.
went for this movie Cop and a Half that came out. You can even find this movie right now. Cop and a Half. It had Burt Reynolds in it. And you can look this up right now. Cop and a Half. I went in and auditioned, and I came back for the second audition and got in. And I remember when I came for the second audition, the dude who had in the movie, his mom was behind us in the line when we were waiting to go in.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this vividly, us standing outside in the parking lot, like waiting to go in to get, to do the audition and stuff like that. Cause I remember my mom had just like, she heard about this audition. She was like, yo, let's go and, see if we can get him in there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And we went in there, auditioned, they loved me. And then we left, and then he came in, they auditioned him, they loved him, and then they left. And then they sent both of our tapes to the director. And then he's like, well, I like the first kid, because he's a better actor than the second one, but he's too tall.
Wow.
And so then they gave the part to the little kid because he looked the part more than the fact that he was like, if he was a good actor or not. And so then that kid got the role. and then the rest was history. And it's like I always used to think like I would never change like how my life is went, but I always used to think like I wonder what I would have done if you know what I'm saying if I would have made if I was in that movie. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's a story that I tell a lot of people whenever they bring up like being in like in movies and stuff. I was like, yeah, I got casted, but I was too tall. So, but
That's crazy.
but
So,
then tall got me playing basketball. You know what I'm saying? So,
a door closed, opened another door.
basically, yeah. Like being tall got me to the point where I was able to do all my athletic stuff and then, experience all that cool, those cool experiences in my life, playing sports and whatnot, where I probably would never have done if I would have just been in acting. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes, 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 yes. So, I have a poet I like. His name's George the Poet. Oh,
mhm,
wrong way. George the Poet. He has a poem called Planning Permission. Planning Permission.
mhm.
Life is four things at any one time: a decision and a reaction, in the hearts and in the minds. So I asked God, why the scars that he heals are always paper cuts from the cards that he deals? He said, in a lifetime, a man either builds or destroys. No planning permission. You plan by your permission. So keep your hand by your munitions and stand by your decisions. So when we talk about deconstructing art, please tell me what you think about that, sir.
Like how I was saying before, all more. You know what? I'll probably say like be aware of your
Yep.
be aware of where you're at, understand the situations that you're in. Um, like my dad always told me it's not it's not like what you know, it's who you know,
Mm-hmm.
how you move. You know what I'm saying? That's going to get you into places, get your foot in the door, places that other people wouldn't get in. And not, but also stick to your your convictions and stuff, and don't change
Mm-hmm.
who you are just to get you know like with the last part when you were saying like keep hands on your mission, but also on your what was it? The last one was consequences or something.
The last line was keep your hands by your munitions. Hold on. Let me get it for you. I want to read it exactly. So keep
Yeah,
your hand by your munitions and stand by your decisions. That's a
yeah.
tough way to close it.
You know what I'm saying? So like, even though I take from that like, uh, others might not like the decision that you're making, but if you feel that's the right decision, stand by it, and don't flake. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't flake because of the pressure. You can't. You know what I mean? Like that's what I get from that. But always be ready to deal with whatever it is. You're gonna deal with a lot of trials and tribulations in your life. There's gonna be a lot of people throwing monkey wrenches in everything that you do. You
Every
know,
day. Every
determines
day.
how you react to the situation, and that's what always comes back to what I said before. Is like, I'm like a chameleon. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to adapt to whatever situation, or if I just don't mess with it, I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no, I'm not putting my toe in to test the temperatures. Like either if I'm either with it or I'm not with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. So, as we come into it, we're going to be ending soon. We're going to go on a free association, sir, as we talked about, and I'm foreseeing a part two because we got to like 10 of your questions.
Oh, no, I'm waiting. No, I'm waiting.
You what?
I'm ready for this. Let's hear it.
Right, free association. This is when I ask you to give your topic, you just tell me a quick answer, but your thought on the topic.
Hold on, time out.
Yes, sir.
I'm on a show right now. Okay.
That's right. Let them know. So, first question.
Okay.
Jared is a blank.
Um Jared is a unique individual.
Ooh, I like that. Second, artists are branding so much right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's a brand. What's your brand?
Like you mean as in like a
However you interpret it.
thing or
However
like?
you interpret it. What is your brand?
Well, I always say NBM forever, New Beginning Music forever, or
Yeah.
stay black, never whack. You know what I'm saying? NBM forever. That's what I usually say all the time. But
And
yeah,
that's what I want to hear.
stay black, never whack, NBM forever.
How do you keep your art unique?
By never listening to anything I do more than 3 times after I make it.
Really?
Yeah,
How does
like
that go?
there's so many songs. Like I literally haven't listened to the Love and Waffles album in like almost probably like 4 or 5 years. I haven't listened to one song on there. Like usually whenever I make a certain song, like I'll listen to it and be in the vibe, but then like once I get onto something else, like I'm off it. You know what I'm saying? Like I just always want to stay ahead, you know what I mean? And don't want to just be, on one thing at the same time. That's why it's always hard for me to ever find new music because like new music will come out and like I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna listen to it, and then new stuff will come out, but I'm still listening to stuff that was out way, early.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Red Velvet Memories.
I feel bad for that song because I wrote that about some girl that I liked.
And tell me about it.
No, I don't want to. No.
The name is dope.
Yeah, I like this song. It's one of my favorite songs that I've done, but it's like what the reason why I don't like it is because it's a song that I wanted to perform live, but
Okay.
have um I didn't have enough people to play it live, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't a song that I could just like play uh like just play, like have a DJ just play it, press play and play and stuff like that. Because there's so many different like elements and interests in it, and the whole point is like I want the person that I was writing that song about to like understand what to feel what I was saying and stuff. And then also I just thought that Red Velvet Memories was a dope name for a song.
It is. I might have to jack that. That might come up in a poem in one of my books. I'm just saying.
Yo, I just thought it was a dope name for a song. And another reason why, and I'm gonna be real with you, and you know what I'm saying, don't tell nobody, but I really like Red Velvet Cake.
Red Velvet Cake's amazing.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, I think when I was writing that song, I was eating red velvet cake. And I was like, yo, red velvet.
I like it.
Memory, yo, that'd be tight. And then I went with it. So I'm pretty sure that's probably what ended up happening is that we'll say red velvet cake. That's the reason why. Yeah, red velvet cake.
Okay.
When I get famous and stuff.
You told me bars matter when it comes to your top 5 lyricists. Your list in the order: Black Thought was 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Biggie was 2.
Mm-hmm.
Big L was 3.
Mm-hmm.
Jizza from the Wu-Tang was 4.
Mm-hmm.
Pac was 5.
Yes.
Okay.
I left people. I know
Go
people don't me for that list. I know it. And they're gonna hate the
So-
order. I know it.
So I asked you. Now, 6 verses on one of your albums. You're on the album. Okay? Who's first, who's second, who's third, who's fourth, who's fifth, and who's sixth?
Of those 5?
Of those 5, counting you.
Man. All right. probably have. You know what? I probably have Biggie started.
Oh, Biggie's first. Okay. Who's
Probably
second
have
verse?
started, then have Black Thought after him.
Okay.
Then Pac.
Oh, that's good. In the middle.
Then Jizza, and then me. Then me, and then Big L finish it off. That's how I'd have it.
So you'd be 5.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, you're in the production studio. You talk to the A&R. The A&R says, Jared, listen, I need you to cut 2 verses. Who you cutting?
New Yorkers. I'm gonna have to cut one of the New Yorkers. That's what it'd be like. Oh man, I don't know.
So you got to cut your 5 down to 3. Unless you're cutting yourself.
You know what? I might do something like that. Like cut myself out. Like cut me and like I might cut like me and Black Thought and just keep
what? Wow! You and Black, you and Thought go bye. Wow.
Actually, no. Back. I take that back. I take me and Big L out and keep Black Thought in because I want to make sure that I have Philly and New York representing on the east side, and then have Pac and me, Pac on the west side since I wouldn't be in there. Yeah.
I like that.
No, I want Black Thought because I want Black Thought and I want Jizza in there because they're gonna come with like some like lyrical like out of your mind type stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then I want Biggie to get to do that hood the hood smooth hood shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then I want Pop to like basically just Malcolm X Martin Luther King my ass. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like speak, just basically spoken word the last half of it. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm cool with taking me and taking Big L out of it because we don't really need Big L because we already got the lyricist with Biggie and we already got New York with Biggie. And then taking me out because I do not deserve to be on a track with none of them dudes.
We talked about ego.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Like,
I don't care. You put me, I'm not rap. I'm going to do a poem. If I'm on a poem, if I'm on the track with any of them, I'm going at everybody's neck. It could be terrible, but I'm going at their neck. I'm never taking me off.
Yo, hey, well, but check this though. But that doesn't mean that I didn't do the beat though.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't mean that, you know what I'm saying, film the video though. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
like,
I respect you.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'll be okay to take myself off the song if my beat is the one you're rhyming on. And I got all of them on there and I could be like, yo, I wasn't able to put a verse on it, but they rhyming on my shit.
Touche.
You know what I'm saying?
So you asked me about how I transitioned from rapping to poetry. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something I haven't done in a long time. For my first book that came out in 2009. 22 Twos?
Yeah.
All right. I wrote a poem called Too Many Twos. And this was when everybody was hating on Jay-Z. Too many twos. Too much beef in the rap industry and too many people talking about race instead of writing rhymes. Too many people dealing with bullshit in their lives. I have to deal with too much at 24. Why do I need to be so poor? Too many writers and not enough contracts. Too many writers and not enough readers. Too many writers and not enough quality books. Too many writers and not enough poets. Too many empty words and not enough wordsmiths. Too much talk of war. Too much media focus on Iraq. And I could give 2 fucks about Iraq or about a draft. And I don't care too much about Bin Laden or however you spell it, because there's still too much to write about. Too many police brutality cases, too many special agencies being formed, too many people besides Colin Powell running for president, too many scams going on, too many cats hating on Jay-Z, too much politics involved in everything, and too many people getting gas or going to Harvard, Yale, and Princeton. Too many bars left to spit about too many problems, and too many people exploiting their kids for money. Too many for me to get into. So when I say that, you can hear the like.
Yeah, I can
I
hear
was listening.
I can hear the different cadence. Like I was sitting there thinking of a beat to go with saying that, and like the whole time I was just be calm, don't say nothing, don't beatbox, don't beatbox.
Nah, do it. Listen, so when I say like that, obviously I was listening to 22 Twos, and I was just like, the concept of how he just kind of walked up, and if you heard it on the skit on the album or whatever, when he just walks up, he's like, "Come on, Jay, too much Westfield, too many." I was just like, "Yo, just the concept of too many twos was dope." So I was like, "Okay, let me write off of this," because it was one of those things where you can hear the flow in it, and you can hear that it could be a rhyme,
Yeah,
but it's also could be a poem, so it's like a hybrid. So when I say that, that's what I'm saying when I mean that I don't necessarily like being constricted by a beat.
No, that makes sense now. I understand what you're saying. Then you could just do spoken word. You know what I'm saying? Where you don't have with the beat. You know what I'm saying? Just have somebody back, like on the drums and
exactly. Sir,
or just have somebody playing.
Sir. One question left.
All right, let's do it.
If you could be any superhero or supervillain, who would you be and why? And yes, you can choose. You could choose both, or you could choose one or the other.
Okay. All right. Superhero or supervillain? Well, if I could be a superhero, I would like to be Superman.
Really?
I could fly, and I'm fast. I can run. You know what I'm saying? Strong. If you're gonna fight me, you gotta be either as strong as me or stronger to even come up with, to even try to touch me. You know what I'm saying?
Bars.
And I was always thought that Superman was a fly dude. I just always thought he was a fly dude, man, because my dad always had me watching the Christopher Reeve Supermans and stuff. So I grew up like watching those. So, and then if I was a super villain, man, you want to know what? At first I would have probably said like I probably would have said like the Riddler, because he's always like messing with people's brains and stuff like that all the time, always losing all the time. But after watching Black Widow, I would like to be Taskmaster, because I know what you're gonna be doing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a mirror moves, so whatever it is you do, you already know what it is that you're gonna do and can count, because I know what it is you know what I'm saying? Like I just think that's one of the coolest, powers to have, that you can mimic another person's, fighting style or power, or you know what I'm saying? Like that's cool. I like stuff like that. So that would probably be my pick, other than the Riddler, because the Riddler is like really smart. He's always getting into stuff all the time. But he loses all the time, but he always he lives rent free in Batman's head. Like he lives he lives rent free in Gotham, the whole city of Gotham's head.
I like it.
He's not the most powerful, you know what I'm saying? He's not like, he doesn't have like, mutant powers. He's not, super enhanced with, abilities and stuff. He just uses You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So you finished the gauntlet for episode 1. A lot of people don't give voice to their expertise. A lot of people would rather be humble than lift themselves up. But they'll lift other people up, but they don't lift themselves up. Part of the reason why I wanted to interview you for the show is because, one, when I found out you did all this music stuff, I was like, wait, what? He never talks about this. So I was low-key pissed off at you. And I was like, this jerk doesn't say anything. But I also think part of the reason why I call it Bigger and Blacker is because, and me and my friend Ray, who was on last week,
Mm-hmm.
we talk about this all the time, that as Black men, we don't lift each other up enough. We don't, say, oh, yo, he's dope, he's this, he's that, or, oh, I'm happy for you that you got your degree, or that you this and do that,
Yeah.
Obviously, oh, you ball, you went to D1, whatever, but what happens after that? When the ball kind of runs out of air. So part of the reason why I wanted to bring you on the show is because you have a lot of gifts that other people don't have. And we didn't even touch on so much of your questions. Yeah. You had 4 pages of questions and we got through like 1.
Yeah, I get so passionate like when I talk about certain things.
And that's part of my point. That's what I want to see. So, in closing for you, sir, the feeling's mutual. We're in the same boat. The dream we were sold as kids isn't impossible. It's just unlikely. I'm chasing my destiny while evading commitment. You're drifting towards loneliness and further away from fertility. Who needs trust when you got mutual interest? So, sir, I say to you, Jared, thank you for coming on the show and proving that you are an everyday expert, sir. What we're going to do, Matt is going to bring up our August slate because we are on a 2-week hiatus. And then when we come back in August, we're coming out big and strong with the most namaste of humans, the man, the myth, the walking encyclopedia. Sir Glenn is August 9th.
Oh.
Yes, August 9th. 2 of my lovely friends, Rachel and Becca, both are co-owners and co-runners of branding company, music, singing, teaching, all this stuff. Music, gender fluidity. We're going to talk about all of that. That's going to be Saturday, August 14th. Another friend of mine, ABA therapist, Michelle Pierre, is going to be on August 21st. My homie James is writing a book. He's going to be releasing in September. August 29th is going to be his date. We don't have a time yet, but we'll let you know. And closing out August, Tuesday, August 31st, the man, the myth, the menace, Mr. Matt Munoz is going to flip the script on me, and he's going to be interviewing me. Yeah, it's going to be dope. August is going to be dope. Tune in, like, subscribe, click, come back, comment, do all of that stuff. Click the bell. Jared, I thank you. So to go out, we are going to have Bad Monday close out the show. Hey, Mr. Munoz, please.
Things we could take a while on a bad Monday. These things we could take a while. Northwest Wild Child, get loud, yeah, I get down. Me and my ninjas here to tear up your town. You know how we do it, we be the illest around. Flying through on planet Earth, shorty pound for pound. You feel the beat, yeah, you digging us clown. Yeah, you rockin' with the best, Valentino from Encino. Shout out to my people, holiday every day for show. Niggas talking that ish, but they don't really wanna know something. DJ, we gon' hit the dance floor, figure to run it back was more VIP, total roller for show. Family affair, it's so love, we're here, and afterwards, I'm out. never heard. Yes, sir, every day the 14th in command. Purple man, so get your hands in the air and wave them all around like you just don't care. Yeah. Sneak up on you like Mariota. OHPD, I'm about to get my quota. Arrive at Gremlins, Roadie. No limit soldiers, never catch me sipping. OG keep it pimping. You swag James Winston. Arrive at Gorillas, you rockin' with fiends. Village green, with the team, that's what we throwing up. Let's start on the beat, so these fuckers out here hating, bro. Don't worry about it. You know we live in this bitch, you dig? So call your people, we can be Michael, we get into some gangster shit. Black American nigga, I was made like this. Should I keep the beef neutral? Should I bang that shit? I fall back, you act like this track, man up, cause the malicious here. Mission, no time to procrastinate, a lot of talk, but most of y'all fake. GTFOH, Blackbird back with the vengeance, stupendous, random. I know.
Hey, baby. Are you one of the ones who, like, does it?
Nobody out there iller than the Snowcross Gorilla. Shorty, I'll be gone in November. Wyclef John, illa killer when the mic be on. So much bars, flex on drop the bomb. I spot, rip my eye. Shorty in the back with the thong. Reminds me of J Bell, black excellence. Just wanna make a difference in the world with the kids. But I was told it's gonna take a while chillin' with you. OG juiciest nigga, no new friends. Go roll up in your spot, we ain't playing with you. Black on white outfit, call it Beetlejuice. Have to show these lame niggas we got bars in the booth. And knowledge you non-believers, disciples spreading the truth. Catch me sleeping on Cupid, now it's time to act the fool. And if you ain't fucking with me, dog, I ain't fucking with you. Show off like a boss, yeah, you know how I do. It go. Yeah.